All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Nanette Jenkins, who is the founder of Breakthrough M2 Weight Loss to Wellness. Nanette, how you doing?
I am good. Thank you very much.
Awesome. It is great to have you, and we like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Well, I live in Florida. I moved here a year and a half ago from New York. I'm 52 years old. I own my own business. I have three adult children. I have two grandbabies, one on the way. And I love to cook. I love to go to the beach. I love to read, and I love to take self-improvement classes.
Okay. So cooking, going to the beach, reading, self-improvement classes.
Yep.
Something I realized that I didn't realize when I was a kid, 52 is like it's really young in my head. Like you still have so much life in front of you, you know?
Yeah.
And I think what gets me is like when I was thinking, I thought my grandparents were so old, but now that I'm getting older, I'm like,
I totally know that feeling. Yeah, I know.
it just gets me how time is like, when you're 6 or 7 and your grandpa is like 60, it's like,
And
he
he
seems so
seems like
old.
ancient.
Yeah. I still have so much life. Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Tell us a little bit more about Breakthrough M2 and what exactly it is, what the day-to-day looks like, and how you help people.
Sure. Well, I actually was a high school math teacher, and I resigned from doing teaching to open this business because I struggled with my weight for 22 years. At the age of 40, I did a weight loss protocol by Dr. Simeons. He was a medical doctor from the 1940s. I had such amazing success on it. I lost 50 pounds in about 68 days. And everybody at school, saw my transformation. And so, I ended up just teaching them and coaching them. And it got so out of hand that I was also using some supplements, and I kept giving the business card to the guy who was, I bought my supplements from.
Yeah.
And finally, it was like 2 months of this going on. And I called him. I'm like, dude, I need a piece of the pie because this is,
Yeah.
I'm sending you a lot of business.
Yeah.
I didn't have any thoughts about starting my own business. I mean, I had just graduated from college at the age of 36. I landed that teaching job and I was tenured, and I absolutely loved teaching high school math. So it wasn't like I was looking for a new career, but I was really finding so much personal joy and fulfillment in helping people do something that was literally the bane of my existence for 22 years. I
Yeah.
never in a million years thought I would help anybody ever lose weight or keep it off.
Mm.
And so by, 2 months later, I had resigned from my teaching position. I'd done the math, and what I could make on the business far outweighed my teaching career. And I resigned and I started it. Actually, today is my anniversary, 11 years in business.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I have my own line of weight loss supplements that are really amazing. We teach people how to do the diet specifically to what is structured, to help them lose the weight. And then we have them do certain steps to get back to normal life. And then we give them the tools that they need to really connect to the part of them that, nobody can you don't know. What's the phrase I always use with people? um why you eat is a totally different beast.
Yeah.
No diet can change why you eat.
Uh-huh.
Even weight loss surgery, well, you can't eat the whole Big Mac, so you'll have half of it.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't, the reasons why people choose food as their legal drug of choice is not going to be changed by weight loss or a diet. It has to be changed with heart and mind. And those are the tools that we love to give people, throughout the process, so that they're aware of what's happening and that they're aware of how to connect to their emotions and their stress in a different way, so they're not constantly running to the kitchen. And yeah, they have coaching throughout the whole process. Women usually lose about 20 to 25 pounds in about a month and a half, and men are closer to 35, 40.
That is okay. You gotta take me through it because in my head, the only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have to be an extreme calorie deficit to lose that much weight in that amount of time. People have
Well,
always said that a healthy
yeah,
amount is like 1 to 2 pounds a week or whatever.
yes, yes. So the difference with this is, and this is something that's been understood since Dr. Simeon's time, the sources of fat in the body that the body can go, fat's calories, we know that. But there's two sources of fat in the body that the body doesn't want to eat, but it's clean. And if the body needs it because of the caloric deficit, it will eat that fat first. And if the body is in caloric deficit for too long, now it starts attacking muscle and all of that, right?
Hmm.
Or if that muscle is just not necessary anymore because your weight goes down, then the body will reabsorb that muscle because you don't need it.
Hmm.
But that third source of fat is what Dr. Simeon's called abnormal fat. And it's really all that jelly belly, outside, exterior, gooey stuff that, we just can't stand.
Yeah.
That fat is not edible in its current state. And unless that fat can be detoxified first to make it clean, the body won't use it first. It'll get all the good stuff first. And that's one of the biggest problems right now with this Wegovy thing. They're showing that people are getting lighter, but they're physically getting fatter because they're losing too much good fat and muscle. So what they're being left with is the other fat. Now, once you go off of that calorie deficit situation, what the body's going to do is it's going to start replacing all the good fat that you stole.
Hmm.
Now people start seeing weight gain and they don't understand why, because they're not eating anything bad or they're going to the gym, they're being good, but the body has no choice. But every time you eat anything with fat in it, it's going to put it back into your fat reserves. That's what it's going to do. The difference between that type of low calorie diet or just not eating at all and what we're doing with people, our program absolutely is low calorie and low fat. But what we're doing is we're stimulating the body in a way, and it's not a stimulation, I don't like using that word, but we're supporting the body in a way where it's detoxifying that exterior fat. So the supplements are helping the body detoxify that fat. And now that exterior fat that you don't need, it's edible now. So now
Mm.
you're actually going after the right kind of fat, and your body doesn't need your muffin top. It's not going to replace it.
Yeah.
It needs that internal fat. It needs those little reserves where inside it needs the fat that's packing in the organs and packing in, making you look nice and taut. It needs that. Certainly doesn't need the jelly belly for sure. So, it's not looking to race and put that back on for any reason whatsoever. And that's why I tell people that the 1 to 2 pounds a week thing, I guess, but if you're losing fat you don't need at all, what does it matter how fast it's going? If you don't need your muffin top, who cares how fast it's going?
Yeah.
If you lose 1 to 2 pounds of fat that's inside the body and it's good fat, first of all, you shouldn't lose any of it.
Hmm.
You should
Yeah.
only lose, the icky stuff that you don't want. So that's the premise. Supplements help clean the bad fat, and the diet helps eat the bad fat.
Wow. That is so with the diet, why is the body eating so much of the bad fat so quickly? Because it doesn't need that energy, right?
Well, it does if you're on a low calorie diet, right? So if you're taking in 700 calories, 800 calories, 900 calories, and your body actually needs 15, it's going to go grab 6 or 7 that it needs to make up the deficit.
I gotcha.
Men are going to lose quicker because they're more muscular. They're more efficient at burning fat. They're less hormonal. For the most part, men are less emotional, like all those ups and downs
Hmm.
comparative to women,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but so
We'll just leave that there.
we women know, not generalizing, but in general, that is how it is. But anyway, yeah, so men are able to go grab calories more efficiently and quicker, and they need more calories because muscle needs more calories, right? Fat doesn't need any calories to live, muscle does. So
I gotcha. So I can't just take these supplements and eat cheesecake all day though?
No. No, not a good idea.
I gotcha. I gotcha. What one quick question before we move on with the rest of the podcast. Tell me a little bit about the supplements because I feel like there are a lot of supplements out there. So how do you
Yeah.
know what to put in them to make sure that this happens?
Well, interesting fact is that the Dr. Simeons figured this whole thing out because he understood what was happening with women when they were pregnant. And so when women were pregnant, if he started out, his main claim to fame back then was helping people lose weight. But when he got a woman that would come in and say, hey, I can't do that low calorie diet that you put me on. I'm pregnant. I found out I'm pregnant. And he said, all right. So these women that were overweight and being pregnant, it was almost guaranteed that every one of them would either, after having the baby, either come out the same weight or less weight. And that was very curious to him. Why were pregnant women losing weight during pregnancy? Overweight pregnant women losing weight during pregnancy. And the reason why they were able to do that was because they needed calories to produce that child. And the HCG hormone that the woman had flowing through her body was what was helping trigger the body to clean the excess fat. And then that fat now was available, and she would be eating all that excess fat just to make that baby. And she was hardly ever hungry because she had everything she needed. And I can't tell you how many seminars I've done over the last 11 years where women be like, I lost weight every time I was pregnant.
Yeah,
And they didn't know why. They never understood, but they're so happy they did,
I gotcha.
So it's funny because as a mathematician, I'm studying, I'm thinking, I'm looking at it. Okay, HCG is fine if you're a medical doctor, then you can work with that stuff, but it's all synthetic now anyway. It's not real. It's not an actual hormone that you can give to people. So what I did was I looked up the biological makeup of HCG and looked up the proportions of what was in it and all the different amino acids and how much I needed, and broke it all down. I worked with a nutritional biologist and he helped me formulate it. And then I have a second supplement that goes with it, which is all homeopathics. And the homeopathics, I swear, I think they're like the secret sauce with all of it.
Yeah.
Because the homeopathics literally work on that energy frequency where it's supporting the person through the different emotional stress that they go through. It neutralizes certain negative frequencies in the human body. And I specifically picked out certain homeopathics that help neutralize negative frequencies that women normally go through and that men normally go through. So I have the amino acid formula that is for both men and women. But then I have my homeopathic formula for men and then one for women.
I gotcha.
Oh,
And
cool.
would this work for just, you're not morbidly obese, but maybe you
Yeah.
have like 10 pounds of fat that you want to lose?
Yeah, I mean, on the website and even, anybody that talks to us, we always say, 15 pounds, something like that. But 10 pounds, yeah, you could, you know,
Hmm.
um, the minimum time you stay on the program would be 3 weeks. And for the most part, a female or a male could lose 10 pounds in 3 weeks. I mean, the typical 3-week time frame, men are losing, if they have that weight to lose, they're losing 21 pounds. Women are usually around 12 to 15 in 3 weeks. So, but the one thing that you have to do in the beginning is to build up your internal fat reserves. And that's so important. And people don't realize that the body will not allow you to tap into external fat or anything until the internal emergency reserves are filled up. And so many people look at me and are like, you don't want me to eat fat, do you? Because I'm already fat. Well, the stuff you're seeing isn't the internal fat.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that you've been robbing that good internal fat for years to wrap up all the toxic stuff that we're exposed to. And that toxic, now that clean fat just got turned into toxic fat, and it just gets pushed to the outside of the body for as long as the body can handle it. And then,
Yeah.
then you start seeing other issues if you keep doing that lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
gotcha. I gotcha. And so what is like a healthy body fat percentage? Like with this, if you're at 20%, will it help you cut to 17? If you're at 10, will it help you cut to 7? Like what's the kind of
Yeah,
threshold?
I don't have too many people that are in that category, so I couldn't give you that mathematical answer. I think for females, it's somewhere around 25% healthy
Mhm,
body fat, and then males, it's between 18 and 20.
mhm.
Um,
I
that
have no
type of
idea.
thing. And I have to be honest too, I don't really watch too many numbers like that, because most of the time I'm dealing with women. I'm mostly dealing with women who have at least 20 to 25 pounds to lose or more. And men, same thing, somewhere 25 or more to lose.
Yeah.
And so most of my clientele really, has a larger amount of weight to lose than, just the smaller amounts. But, you could do it. It's just a matter of,
Yeah.
a lot of times when people come to us in that situation, they're the people that have been going to the gym. They love working out. They're doing their thing, and they just want to be able to cut more weight or whatever. And doing the gym and doing all that during this particular process is you just can't pull from the body quick enough to give you what you need if you're adding in too much intense exercise. You got to give it a break. And just, I always tell people, if you're a gym person, keep going to the gym. Just you can't do what you're used to doing, because you're
Yeah.
not taking in the calories, and therefore you're forcing the body to pull too quickly out. And so what's it going to do? It's going to steal from your good reserves, because that's the only place that it can quickly take from.
Mhm.
Getting rid of that toxic fat is a process. It doesn't, just happen. But, you know,
It's so counterintuitive to like what
it
you would think.
is. I can't tell you how many people have said that to me. And it is counterintuitive, because we've been taught calories in, calories out, but I don't know. Any female will be like, that ain't true.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many women are like, I hardly eat, I can't lose weight.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the problem. you
I
know.
gotcha. I gotcha. Well, tell us a little bit more about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
Oh, after 11 years, I really do enjoy what I'm doing. I love connecting with people and inspiring them to do something that they really don't think they can do, or to help people just, get over that hump, it- put the temptation down, make it through. But again, I've been doing this for 11 years, and quite a few years ago now, I think it's about 6 to 8 years ago, I watched a movie, and it was called 22. And it was about military men and women that, I think it's either every 22 seconds or 22 people a day commit suicide. I can't remember what the 22 is
I
for,
think
but
it's 22 people a day.
yeah, and that's horrifying.
Yeah.
And so I watched this movie, and this guy that was in the movie he was a friend of a friend's son, and he was a veteran, and he took a motorcycle ride across country, and he stopped at all these different places that were doing programs for veterans, to help them decompress, deal with PTSD, because when they come home from war, when they come home from wherever, they don't know how to acclimate as that person now with their family and who they are now. And they really need more time with their veteran comrades, right? They need more
Yeah.
time with them. They need more time to decompress. They need more time to let all this stuff filter out before their family is exposed to this, person who just doesn't know what to do with all of, whatever happened. And they were explaining how the government really doesn't have much for them at all. And it's only maybe a week at most that these guys are put in these decompression, situations where they can, if maybe not even that long, maybe like 2 or 3 days, and then they're off back to their house. And, these wives and families and parents are getting these men and women back, and they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
And so it was really amazing watching these people with these programs and different things, teaching them how to sail, teaching them how to do, pottery and all this stuff. But really what it was to help them get their minds off of it, and just, which helped work things out.
Yeah.
Sort of like a meditation, right?
Hmm.
If you can unplug, your brain can kind of release some stuff and get stuff out. And especially with men, they're doing physical things whether they're sailing or whatever they're doing, building, they need, a lot of men need that, right? So this movie touched me, and I said to my team at that time, I said, I want to build the ark. And one of the things on my website that I tried doing a while ago was incorporating this idea of a higher purpose for breakthrough, and really helping people transform, and moving them from one level to the next, and just helping people level up. Starting with their weight is amazing, but what can we do to help them level up? And from that whole feeling, I came up with Alula Wellness, and that was going to be the next phase of breakthrough. It didn't happen at the time, and it still isn't happening now, but the idea of Alula is that those are the little feathers under a bird's wing that helps them transition to higher heights, helps them go around turns, and helps them navigate much quicker and much more with ease. And so the Alula Retreat Center was something that I wanted to really shoot for. And that's why I called it, building the ark, because that's the acronym, Alula Retreat Center.
I got you. I'm glad you explained that, because you're right over my head.
That's okay. But I wanted it to be a place where it can be a retreat place for veterans, and it could be like a whole 3-week course or 6-week course or program or whatever, where they could just come and just be immersed in, decompressing, being with other people, spirituality, however that looks for the person, and just have that place where they could go and have everything in one area, healing horses. I love that. Having like dogs right there, teaching them how to work with a dog and taking a dog home, service dog, and that type of thing. I mean, all of it, I would just love to do it. So my dream was always to have a breakthrough, because it was such a lucrative business, just be able to fund the retreat center and let that just kind of run on its own eventually, because it's such a systematic business. It's very easy for that to happen. And just whatever profits are gleaned off of breakthrough, it just goes right into the nonprofit and just helps keep feeding that, so that can just keep going.
I gotcha. So you want to have is Breakthrough M2 fund the Alula Wellness Retreat Center?
That's what I would love. Yes.
I gotcha.
Big dream, Tim.
That is a big dream. And it takes us right into your dreams and goals, which is what the whole podcast is about. So we got that one. Have Breakthrough fund Alula Wellness. How much money would Breakthrough have to be producing in profit to fund Alula Wellness?
Well, that I'm not really sure about, because the initial build would be a tremendous amount, I'm sure. So I don't know. I've never done a budget on it. I've never thought, I've never I haven't delved into any of that in particular. I mean, I know it would have to be a lot, which I always felt like Breakthrough could do, because it's such a simple system. It's so easy to do. And, it's affordable, and, the weight loss industry is billions of dollars. So why not?
Yeah.
And we have a good heart for people. Our biggest thing is, we love seeing less of you, like literally.
Yeah.
we love that, unfortunately the diet industry is based on failure, right? The success of the diet industry is based on people's failures. And because I was one of them for 22 years, that is not how our business model is set up. And, we want people, I mean, we know that life's going to come in and life's going to throw people, a loop sometimes. And we get that. And of course, people might go back to their old triggers and gain some weight back and want to take it off again. That's fine, whatever. But for the most part, we want people to level up. So if you lost 50 pounds with us and you come back 2 years later, well, at least it's only 20 this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you have somebody that has, I'm not going to say addicted to food, but if that is your place to go for emotional stuff, you've been doing that for years. I mean, honest to God, what's the first thing you see a mom do in a store if a kid will not stop screaming? Candy.
Yep. Fact.
Sugar right in the mouth.
Yeah.
Here's the darn lollipops.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we've been soothing our emotions with stuff since we were babies.
And
So
yeah, I gotcha. And so with breakthrough funding Alula, was it that you wanted breakthrough to kind of take people to that next level, and then that's a whole business model, and that all funds Alula, or was Alula the next level you were picturing?
originally I was looking at Alula being the next level of wellness for people that have done the weight loss. And quite honestly, once I started diving into that, I'd done a lot of work with like Peaks Potentials. I don't remember his name right now, T. Harbecker.
Hmm.
I did a lot of like self-improvement work with them. And I love the whole idea of, other areas of wellness. And after a little while, it just wasn't I'm like, nah, there's so many different avenues, and there's so many people out there that are so good at all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't something that I really was really that passionate about. So then I ended up having this Alula thing with nothing underneath it except for Alula thing
Yeah.
until I saw that movie 22.
And now it's the
And
retreat
now I'm
center for
like,
veterans.
yeah, that really fires me up.
Yeah.
And it's been in the background for a couple of years now, of course, since COVID and all that. It has really just not been a priority,
Yeah.
keeping our business afloat and doing all that during this last 4 years. And we were in New York. My business is in New York. I moved to Florida a year and a half ago, like I said, but it was very tough. I mean, we lost months and months of ability to have live seminars, which was that's how we marketed. We had to do a total pivot online, which, that's a big deal. That's a large, massive, wild, wild west out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we've been kind of digging out since all of that, and we're doing good, but it's taken us time. So,
I gotcha. I
yeah.
gotcha. And so when you visualize the Alula Retreat Center, are you picturing a building on like an acre of land? Are you picturing a building on like 15 acres of land? Just
Yeah.
talk to me a
Yeah.
bit more in depth about
Yeah,
it.
like my vision of it, I actually had a vision board for a while. I had little soldiers doing yoga. It was so cute. Anyway, yeah, like the center building would be that gathering place for, where everybody comes and listens to whatever, whatever speaker's there, and you know, all that is that center building. And then off of that would definitely be on, like when I was in New York, there was a 50-acre plot of land right next to my house that was for sale. I'm like, oh my God, I would love that.
Yeah.
But it would have to have like little cabins for sleeping, and it would have to have a pool, and I wanted a zip line thing, and I wanted a place to garden, and I wanted a place to keep the horses, and I wanted a place to keep the dogs. And like
Yeah.
I saw this big compound where you just come and you pick out your courses and what you want to do. And if you'd like to leave with a dog, you can go do service. You learn how to be a service person with dog. And like I had all these, this is what I want. I think
Yeah.
it's amazing.
So
But
you're building out like not like a kind of 6-person weekend retreat, but more of like a camp style, like because
yeah,
it's a 6-week retreat, so you want it to be more of a camp style campground, uh,
yeah,
log
yeah,
cabins and stuff.
even, yeah. And I don't know how long I would make it, right? I mean, I would probably start out with like a 3-week thing, but then, I mean, watching this show, I mean, the movie, there's so many great people out there that know how to, get through to these people that have been through trauma. And oh, that was something I wanted to thank you for, by the way. I watched one of your podcasts, and it was the guy who was talking about, oh, the king, the warrior, the magician, that book. and it was the Mankind Project, and I don't know if he was one of the authors, but
This was
I
it
bought the
recent?
book.
How recent was it?
I'm not sure because I don't remember where I clicked on your list of podcasts. I think it was pretty up to the close to the top, but he was talking about this book, The King, the Warrior, the Magician, and there was one more, and the Lover, and he was talking about the 4 archetypes of men, not
Hmm.
like men, women, men.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of it was just how men did not, in our society, there's no more rituals to initiate men or women to find out who they are, right? And to give them that direction. There's no more the lack of leadership in the male community now is just being attacked all the time. And it was such, I'm like 3 chapters in already. I bought it like 2 days ago. And what a great book. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so all about like what I would want people to use as almost like a textbook for the retreat center, like,
Yeah.
oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Loved it.
You'll have to tell me which episode that was because I'm blanking on it right
I
now.
will. I will. I'll figure it out for you.
Awesome. And then we'll put it in the show notes. So if people want
Yeah.
to go back and watch it,
That's right. That's
they can
right.
watch it as well.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, awesome. I was looking up while you were telling me your vision for the camp, I used to lead Young Life, and Young Life has those types of camp
Mhm.
style summer retreat vibes that kids come to for a week. And yeah, it's a good chunk of change.
It is. It is. But I mean, there's so much money out there in the world. They're just giving it away. I mean, so,
Oh, for sure.
lottery. I mean,
No, honestly, and especially with being able to help veterans, there are definitely grants out there. Now, I guess my question is, how would the money flow? Would it be you raising money from the nonprofit, or would your business fund all of it, or would you get
it
like a
would have to be a combination of both. It would have to be a hybrid of both. We would have to have donors. We would have to have the ability to go out and, fundraise and, plus, I would never want the retreat center to be worried about paying its bills, and that's what I was hoping, thinking about, okay, well, if Breakthrough could grow big enough where it's able to fund that part of it, then anything we get from donors and that type of thing is just all about just leveling up the grounds, the programs, the people that would come and talk and, all of that, like.
Would you be willing to do like a 6 months vibe where it's like 6 months are reserved for veterans, completely free of charge, and then 6 months is like paid clients type of thing?
I thought about that too, and yes, I think that would be incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
gotcha.
Because I mean, that's a great way to pay for it too, right? I mean, of course.
Especially if you hit some like luxury kind of corporate retreats, they'll pay top dollar for that type of stuff.
Yeah,
So really cool, really cool. Well,
thanks.
awesome. Looking forward to if you had to put a time frame on it, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, where do you see it being active and running?
Oh, well, I see Breakthrough being able to get to a certain level within the next 5 years, and then at that point, I could start really, going crazy with it. So yeah, I mean, why not, right? 5 years, start really seriously looking at, you know, how I can make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
got
mean, I'm 52, I ain't getting no younger.
you. There we go. Well, any other dreams or goals that you want to chat about?
No, I don't think so. I don't
I,
think so.
I like the focus. Well, cool. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop right now to make these dreams and goals come true?
Yeah, I definitely know that the idea of networking, fundraising, that whole thing is something that I would absolutely have to work on. Um, but then, of course, leading that team of people toward the vision and making sure that vision is communicated properly. And I'm only saying that because of my current situation. I have a very small staff. There's 5 of us total. And even with a small staff and all the things that go along with running this business, it's sometimes like, oh God, we're not focused, or,
Mhm.
we're not able to stay in the vision all the time because we're all working in the business, not so much on it sometimes. And there's such a difference between working in and on, but yeah, I think that's keeping the team focused on the vision is definitely a skill that I would have to work on.
Who would you need to hire right now to make sure you can spend 80% of your time working on the business and then 20% of it in the business?
Oh, marketing genius that had the ability to schedule the post and, you know, do that. And, it is an absorbent amount of time.
Yeah.
And my daughter, who is never went to school for or anything, is just working her tail off to learn as much as she possibly can. And, to get content out on all these different platforms. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know who
So
Russell Brunson is?
I do. And his ClickFunnels guy, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a ClickFunnels thing about 3 weeks ago, and now I work with a website company called Loud Canvas, and they have a ClickFunnels guy that works with them. And so currently right now he is working on a funnel for us. I
There we
think
go.
because I did that class with him and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
God, I cannot do any more. But I loved it. So
Yeah.
smart. So smart. And that guy is so full of energy. Holy cow.
hmm
Yeah.
And does your consulting happen, or does your business? Because I guess it's breakthrough him too. Is it mainly supplements, or are you also coaching and consulting them through the process? Or
Yeah, it's all of it. It's
I
it's
gotcha.
it's the supplements, it's all the educational material, the online dashboard. We're coming out with an app toward the end of this year, which is really exciting. And then all the coaching that they need, accountability coaching, weekly coaching with a one-on-one coach, not like a group thing. It's one-on-one. They talk to this person every week. It's all included in the price and what we do.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, because you need it. You need that support,
Mhm.
trying to make a lifestyle change, you need support because
It's a fact.
yeah.
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 Okay, so the CEO's networking and fundraising and then leading people towards a vision and making sure it's communicated clearly. What are the highest impact daily actions that are going to take the needle forward?
For me, and I'm looking at breakthrough right now because for me, getting breakthrough stable and, you know, engine working properly, constantly moving forward, So for me, it's really setting up my calendar on a with more flow with what I'm doing with my time and paying attention to getting the activities mapped out, broken down, all of that. That's like the biggest thing for me. Like, I feel like there's so much incoming stuff that goes on with running a business. And I do feel like sometimes a chicken with my head cut off or somebody's running around with a fire extinguisher, like I feel like that all the time. And the funniest thing is I'm in Florida and the rest of them are in New York. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's just, I feel like that all the time. And I think that if I would get a hold of my calendar and really map out my day, like I'm doing, I just bought the Grant Cardone University. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
you
Yeah,
Grant
yeah.
Cardone, he's awesome and crazy. But I bought that university for me and my team so that we could start just learning. And one of the things that he said was, just chunk your calendar into 15-minute time blocks and set your timer. And I still haven't done it yet.
Mm.
The idea of literally thinking ahead to map out my calendar every 15 minutes just is like, oh my gosh, no way, I can't. But I have to. I got to do it, I got to do it because I
Do you
think
have
if
an
I
assistant?
did, I do not have an assistant. And I see, maybe that's the person I should hire, not a marketing person. Maybe I should do that. Oh, I
I
need an
got you.
AI robot here or something,
Yeah, yeah.
clean the house, feed the dog, do all of it.
I got
Oh,
you. I
yeah,
got you. So, daily actions. Is it the time blocking for you?
it is. It's setting up my calendar for sure. And the other thing I wrote down too is just getting up early and starting my day earlier. That 5 a.m. club. Oh, love that.
Yeah.
I can get up at 6. I'm working on the 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I love it. Do you know
Yeah.
who Alex Hormozy is?
No.
Ooh, you
Let
should
me
go
write this
watch.
down.
You
Hold
should
on.
go watch some of his YouTube videos, specifically the one, I think it's like an hour and 32 minutes, hour and 42 minutes or something like that. It's a video on YouTube, and he's like how I went from zero to $100 million or something. Like he's just ultra wealthy now because
Yeah.
and one of his things that he was talking about was how to scale without capital as a bottleneck on your business. And he's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a pricing structure thing where you take your cost to acquire a customer, and then you take your cost to fulfill the customer, and whatever that is, you need to get 2 times that in profit in 1 month from your customer. And so, if it costs 200 to acquire and 100 to fulfill, you
Yeah.
need to get $600 in profit, which I think is 900 total in revenue because you spent 300 acquiring and fulfilling, 600 in profit, right? And he calls that customer financed acquisition. And
Mm.
what what I really liked about it was it was like hike up your prices however you can, and then provide comparable value for the hiked up prices. But then
Mm-hmm.
two, he was like, whoever can pay the most for the customer wins. And that was such a shift to me. Like it just blew my mind because I was always thinking, how can I do stuff for free? How can I get customers for free? How can I do this? And that was just the wrong mindset to be in. And I say this like I've been doing this for years. I'm 23. I haven't been doing it for years.
No, you have not, Jay.
No, not even close.
Although it feels like it.
But it was just a good mindset shift to
Yeah.
take me out of that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put you onto his videos, but
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I will definitely look him up. Thank you.
awesome. What character trait do you most need to develop right now to make your dreams come true?
Discipline and consistency,
Mm,
for sure. I mean, look, it just goes right back to what I was just saying about my calendar and getting up in the morning.
yeah, I
You know
got
what I mean? If I would be consistently setting up my calendar every single day, I'm really great with a checklist,
you. Hmm.
but just get me to write a checklist first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like I let life tell me what to do versus me telling life what to do.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I walk in sometimes into my office, and my office is right in my house. So I'm walking in here and, okay, what are my emails and what are this, what are that? Well, once that starts, that could really be a rabbit hole. So it's a matter of prioritizing and looking at projects that are going to make me money. What is going to make me money the fastest and the easiest? That's your project you need to focus on today. You
Hmm.
know, and finishing those things to completion. But again, that's where the discipline comes in and the consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I kind of already answered this question, but I'll ask it in case you want to add somebody. If there were 1 or 2 people you could meet right now, specific
Yeah.
person or type of person, they'd help you take that next step, who would they be and how would they do it?
Yeah, I put Grant Cardone down for that one because, and I've technically met him. I went to his thing and I bought his stuff, and I actually did like 4 or 5 of his retreat things, like 2 to 3 day retreat things, and it was awesome. And just having his influence has been tremendous for me and my team.
He's such a
So,
beast.
oh my God, he's awesome, and he's just real, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love. But the other one is Marcus Lamonus, and I love watching his show. Was it CNBC, The Prophet? I don't know if it's still on, but because I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. But the stuff that I've seen him do as far as being able to just go in, get that bird's eye view, and really help people systemize things, prioritize, get that flow going between departments and all of that. Like that is somebody who I really would love to just come in and take a look, please, and tell me what you think. So,
Sounds like you just need a COO.
it's funny because one of the people that has been working with me for a while, just recently, I kind of promoted her and we started talking about all the things that she's doing. And then we start looking up what the definitions of what she's doing, and she's the COO.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Yeah, where's the money? I had to give her a raise.
Yeah. 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 That's epic. That's epic.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I
So
love
yeah,
it.
she's definitely taking over some stuff for me that is extremely helpful. And she's got that organizational mind that has just been rock solid.
Yeah.
So, and who knew? She was in the shipping department, doing wonderful things with inventory and shipping stuff out, you
Yeah.
know. But our team is small. I mean, I've known she's way talented than what she's been doing, over the past few years with us. But, it came to a point where now I finally understand, what do I need? And that's been a big challenge. Just understanding as a business owner, okay, what exactly do you need? Because you don't know what you don't know.
Hmm.
So, you know, after going through so much turmoil with the COVID and the financial, downturn and all that, that really helped me figure out, what is it that you really need then, you know, because when the money was coming in and everything's fine, it wasn't like there was any, big deal. Everybody's just doing what they normally do and going with it, doing it. But meanwhile, that's not good enough now.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
I gotcha. I
So
gotcha.
we better kick it up or we're gonna get kicked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome. Just curious. Have you gone back to live events, or is all your marketing kind of content based now?
Yeah, I'm doing webinars. I do a webinar every Thursday night at 7. And we put that out there, and that's going to be part of the funnel soon too, because I need to get more people involved with that. But I moved to Cape Coral, Florida, and this city is about 2 to 300,000 without the snowbirds. And so now that I'm in a completely different place, and Florida only shut down for a couple of weeks during that whole thing. So people down here are just not into it, which is great. I mean, because it allowed people to keep living,
Yeah.
and that type of a thing, which was really important, obviously. But now that I'm down here, I've joined the chamber, and they have a very active chamber of commerce. And I'm going to start doing live seminars down here, and I'm going to start doing that. Now, like I said, I've been down here for a year and a half, and for the last 6 months, I said I was going to do that. So that's something that I have to get started. So that I will do. But you saw the crutch, and I broke my foot about a week ago. So now I'm just going to have to hobble around and do it.
I see. I see.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha. And with the webinars, do you guys, I know you're about to put in the funnel, but do you guys drive traffic to it primarily through content? Are you doing Facebook ads? What does the
Yeah,
content?
the Facebook ads were working for us with that. I just recently stopped the Facebook ads only to shift some money to do the funnel. And I've been sending out, email reminders to my current pool of people. I have quite a few thousand people in my email pile,
Hmm. Yeah,
that have visited the site but never done anything. So, that's something that we've been doing too, is trying to market through that, and but yeah, the Facebook ads were working for that.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of email solo ads?
No.
Gotcha. Um, there's this website called Udemy, not like the educational platform, but like
Mhm.
Udimi, and people are on there and they have email lists that they've done their own marketing for, and you can
Mm.
basically borrow their list to send out an email to it advertising your webinar, and then they'll
Okay.
promise like, for the deals it'll be like 40 cents per click, and then for
Mm.
things that aren't deals it'll be like 55 cents per click, and then you'll see some of the guys who are like 50% opt-in rate, so they paid for 500 clicks, they got 250 opt-ins type of thing for like
Okay.
$1,000 or whatever.
That's great.
And so I don't know if it fits your niche. I don't know if it will or not, but
Yeah, I'll
it's
look
worth
into
checking
it.
out.
Well, you know what else I did too, which I thought was really smart. I went on to Facebook, and there are so many groups, like business groups, that allow you to advertise for free. Holy cow.
Yep.
So every week I'm putting out my webinar advertisement on about 50 groups a week
Yeah.
for free.
Uh-huh.
I love it. So
It's
I'm gonna
amazing.
keep doing it, and I'm gonna keep joining more groups.
Uh-huh. I love
So
it.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
nice, 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 nice. Um, we're gonna jump into our thriving three, and these are gonna be a little bit quicker, and then we have another section about limiting beliefs that we'll run through.
Sure.
We're gonna try and do that in 8 minutes. You ready?
Got it.
What's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
As a Man Thinketh, James Allen.
Such a good book.
Favorite. It's short and it's to the point.
Yeah, I
Not a
love it.
word wasted.
Really, honestly.
It's
And
the foundation of, Think and Grow Rich
It's it's like the foundation of all self-improvement
and
stuff.
Law of Attraction.
Yeah.
And it's
Like,
got 7 chapters that go with the 7 chakras, which blows my mind.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Crazy. Love it.
Epic. What's one way you like to take care of yourself?
I meditation and morning walks for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that has to happen for me.
Gotcha.
Yep.
What is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it too? Hire that marketing genius or that assistant that will help you work on your business, not in your business.
I put down focus on my current business because I was thinking about the retreat center when I wrote that. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to just keep doing. Focus on my current business.
Yeah,
Yep.
I gotcha. And with the current business, are you uh cash flow liberal enough to make a big executive marketer hire? Or is it more like you'd probably have to start with like a marketing associate?
Yeah, I definitely have to start with an associate, yeah, I can't, yeah, and I can't do any hiring right now at all. Actually, we're pulling out of a pretty big hole.
I
So
gotcha. Yeah,
pretty,
COVID. Yeah,
yeah. So I am so blessed that, we're moving
I know.
rapidly.
It's good that y'all are pulling out of it and not going
Oh,
deeper into it.
so many businesses were just lost during COVID, and it's so
Uh-huh.
sad. So we're just really thankful that, we survived that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now we're going to talk about limiting beliefs. This is the final series of the
Yeah,
podcast. If you don't want to answer these because they get too personal, feel free to say I'm a pass.
that's okay.
Awesome. What's one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
Yeah, I've always had, this thing that just whirls around, that if I've done something, that can never be fixed. Um, that's just, if I did something wrong, I apologize, they accept the apology, but wondering in the back of my mind, did I permanently ruin something, or what if I did something that can't be fixed? And that is just so detrimental.
Mm,
Yep.
I got you. And where does that come from?
Um, well, I have to say my childhood, definitely, because my mom was definitely the big, you know, you're guilty and shameful type of person at times.
Hmm.
It, that was a lot. But even, as an adult, choices that I made along the way that have hurt my loved ones, um, you know, that that's where I think a lot of my feelings come from right now, currently.
I got you.
Yep.
And are there any limiting actions that reinforce this limiting belief?
Yeah. I'm all into Abraham Hicks with the law of attraction, and I absolutely have just leaned on those teachings for the last couple of years. And what I've learned is that, if you're going to keep focusing on the things you don't want, you're going to keep getting those things.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, some of those mental wormholes that we go down and I know everybody can say yes, this, isn't it crazy how you can literally drive from point A to point B and realize that you don't even remember like
Hmm.
any of the billboards that you drove past, any of it,
Yeah.
because you're in such a place mentally, but meanwhile you're driving along, right? It's like when you're reading and you start here and the next thing you know, you start thinking about something, you get to the bottom of the page and you realize you got to go back up the top.
Yep.
And that type of thinking, about the negative stuff or the things that I might feel guilty or whatever about, it just keeps reiterating that stuff instead of me focusing on what I want. I want a peaceful resolution, or I want healing, I want harmony, whatever. I want to feel relieved or released from this. Instead of me focusing on that, going down that wormhole is so much quick. It's like so fast it happens, you know?
Hmm.
But it's been getting better. It has been getting better ever since I started listening to her and really focusing in on stuff. I've been catching myself quicker to not do that. And then I have to turn it around and say, okay, well, what is it you do want?
Yeah.
Start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There we go. Well, if you were to change your limiting belief into an abundant phrase that
Mm.
really spoke to your heart in the way that you needed to hear it, what would that phrase be?
Yeah, I can never get it wrong because I can never get it done. And I believe in, you know, when we transition on, spirit never dies and you'll always get the opportunity to fix and move on and evolve. And I mean, as a human being, I want to make sure everything that I did down here during this time frame is going to get taken care of, you know.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that's where my stress comes in, you know, well, you know, am I going to get a peaceful resolution with somebody that I really was wanting, you know? Well, I might want it, but maybe they don't, and it's not just up to me. So just focusing on what I want and the best in other people that I love is where I have to, you know, keep doing.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
absolutely. And when the limiting beliefs start to take over, what thoughts or actions do you resort to take back control?
Yeah. If they get really bad, I literally have to physically get up and move
Hmm.
because I have to like either leave the area that I'm in to change the environment. Um, you know, I will turn on YouTube and just whatever comes to the top, I'll just click. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, that's the one. Um, I listen to music a lot. And you know, if I really get like that internal thing where sometimes I feel like I have butterflies in my stomach and it's not for a good reason, um, I have to literally go walk it off.
Yeah.
And moving that energy by physically moving my body is extremely helpful for me.
Yeah.
So that's why people feel so great after exercise a lot of times, you know?
Absolutely. All
Yeah.
right, we got one last question for you, and it's actually not the question that I told you it was going to be. I've kind of scrapped that question, just haven't updated my
That's
question
okay.
sheet. This question is going to be, what is your favorite belief about yourself?
Oh, I believe the best in everybody. I really do. I believe that anybody can get past anything. And I am relentless in encouraging people to believe that about themselves.
Mm,
You
yeah,
know, I just know that people have goodness in them and they just have to find it.
yeah,
Yep.
100%. There we go. Well, Nanette, thanks so much for coming on the show. That's all we got for you.
Thank you, Tim. It's been great. I really appreciate this.
Of course, of course. Is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, no, not at all. You did a great interview. I loved it.
I loved having you. Well,
Thank
awesome. If you guys are listening to this and you loved what Nanette had to say, make sure to check her out. All the links to do so will be down in the show notes. Where do you want them to find you?
breakthroughm2.com is fine.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
There we go. Get some supplements that will literally change your life. I learned so much in the first 20 minutes of this podcast. Like it literally blew my mind.
Yay.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.